I'm Beverly Smyrnis, here to bring you the stories of people who fearlessly pursue their passions. My guests have intentionally chosen a life of purpose, fulfillment, and balance. My wish is that you leave each episode feeling capable of realizing your boldest dreams. This episode of People Pursuing Passions is brought to you by Savvy Trucks, Toys, and SUVs. As a member of the Savvy List family of media, Savvy Trucks, Toys, and SUVs brings you news and insight into the dynamic world of the automotive industry, with reviews and driving experiences reported by the savvy drivers. Learn more on savvytts.com. I'd like to welcome to the studio today Natalie Ray. Natalie has a passion for health and wellness. In her business, ReGen and Aesthetics Concierge of Texas is multifaceted. I'll let her tell you all about what they do.
Beverly, thanks so much for having me today. What we do is we really take a regenerative medicine approach to all things aesthetics, wellness, and mental health and sexual health. So that's a really broad umbrella. So I'll unpack what that looks like a little more. But in aesthetics, we're looking at how do we reteach the cells in our body, particularly the skin cells of our face, neck, and chest, how to function in a more youthful way. So really looking at cellular health, cellular functioning, and how to reteach our cells to function again more optimally. And we do that through a large modality of treatments. We use a lot of PRP, a lot of exosomes, which are the cutting edge of regenerative medicine now. And modalities like microneedling. Of course, we love Botox for prevention. So that's how we bring regenerative medicine and marry it to aesthetics. Our goal with aesthetics is to deliver natural, long-lasting results to our clients. Our client niche is clients who want that natural, long-looking result. They want to keep looking like themselves, just want to turn back the clock of time. So that's the bird's eye view of aesthetics. In terms of wellness, there's a wide range of offerings that we have. One of the most popular is weight loss. I'm sure a lot of your audience have heard of the peptides, semaglutide and tirzepatide. These have massively changed the weight loss scene in America. I'm really passionate about HRT. So for women, that's bioidentical estriol, estradiol, pregnenolone, DHEA, testosterone. For men, we are targeting typically testosterone, DHEA, and pregnenolone. Obviously, as we age, our hormones start to subside and we're able to replace those, again, in a very safe and clinically proven way to turn back the clock of time.
So, Natalie, tell me how you came to choose the medical career path.
Really starting out, just seeing the medical field as an opportunity to help people. And that desire to help people enable me to navigate from that intensive care unit environment to moving forward to graduate school for anesthesia. Eventually, my hunger for learning and helping people from a more holistic perspective drove my passion to pivot to a more global wellness, functional and integrative medicine approach that we can offer at ReGen and Aesthetics. So really that heart to fuel people's personal lives with options for holistic health approaches that change how they live every day.
Natalie approaches all of the treatments, whether it's aesthetics or the weight loss, all from a medical perspective, but a naturopathic medical perspective.
Yeah, we really do try to integrate clinically proven medical approaches along with a functional medicine approach looking at root causes for that marriage, because both approaches have extreme strengths. And when we're able to take that kind of integrative approach, I think we offer our clients the best results.
And Natalie is on some cutting edge treatment programs for post-traumatic stress syndrome and Alzheimer's disease as well, which I find just absolutely fascinating.
So really my passion for all things brain health stemmed from seeing the best evidence-based practice that we could bring towards treating the root cause of some of these conditions, like depression, like PTSD, like neuronal deterioration that manifest in dementia and Alzheimer's. And a few of the core treatments that we offer in this mental health and cognition realm include ketamine infusions. The bird's eye view of ketamine infusions is ketamine activates a protein called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. I kind of think of them, we start out and they're this healthy, flourishing, they look like a healthy, flourishing tree, and then they shrivel in response to stimuli, whether it be aging or stress or a traumatic brain injury. And with ketamine and the activation of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, we're able to regrow these healthy, branching, flourishing neurons to restore the connectivity between the key areas of the brain. We exclusively do ketamine infusions simply because that's the gold standard. There are other avenues of administering ketamine, such as nasal sprays and troches, but we have the most evidence in terms of efficacy with the IV infusions. Another core treatment specifically for PTSD and problems like chronic headaches is something called a stellate ganglion block. That is where we are injecting some local anesthetic into an area of the neuronal circuit called the stellate ganglion, and we're able to basically calm down an overactive pathway that can be a stress response or a pain response. And then also, along with ketamine infusions, stellate ganglion blocks, we can bring in some peptides like Selenk and Cmax to also help regrow healthy neurons and connections. We take a holistic approach because whenever we're looking at any kind of medical challenge, we want to look at it from a whole body perspective and a root cause perspective.
And how did you get into that?
That's a great question. I think that is where my anesthesia background and medical background kind of marry to this wellness clinic. We use ketamine very frequently in anesthesia. I started studying about the other applications for ketamine. And, if you do a search for it, it's now really used across the States and in parts of Europe. Europe is a cutting edge treatment for depression, PTSD. And so having that anesthesia background, same with the stellate ganglion block, enabled me to pull in those treatments to our wellness clinic.
And as I understand it, you recently started a 501c3 to offer scholarships specifically for the post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Yes, I'm super excited and passionate about the mission of our 501c3. We're called Healing Project DFW. And it's our mission to bring these treatments, which are quite expensive, provide scholarships for veterans and first responders. These are the heroes in our communities, but it's often hard for them to afford these treatments. So that is the mission, to provide scholarships for veterans and first responders to receive these treatments.
So a lot of people are very interested and passionate about finding the cure for Alzheimer's. Tell us what you have uncovered as far as how this ketamine treatment is also relatable to and effective with the stopping of Alzheimer's.
That's a great question and such a need for more research rather than treating symptoms and slowing symptoms of Alzheimer's. How can we get to that root cause? Alzheimer's is a complicated disease process, but some of the big picture items that you will have heard of are the accumulation of sticky proteins, neuroinflammation, stress. So all of this leads to deterioration of the neurons in your brain, which leads to the symptoms and disease process of Alzheimer's. With ketamine, we're treating a couple of those root causes in the sense that with ketamine, we're able to stimulate growth of new healthy neurons in the brain. So that's a root cause treatment. And ketamine also decreases neuroinflammation, which has been found to be one of the causes of Alzheimer's. There's multiple causes that come together to really manifest as this disease process. And also it decreases that oxidative stress. So I think we typically do our ketamine treatment as an initial series of 6, spaced a couple a week, so over 3 weeks. Think of that as a reboot for the brain, fertilize the brain, allow new healthy neurons. But if you stop there without taking a multimodal approach, we don't see as good of outcomes. We have peptides that support similar actions like Cmax and Selenk that we can add to the treatments. And then we want to look at supplements that support decreasing inflammation in a very safe and effective way in the brain. It's a multimodal approach, but when you compare it to the mainstream medicine approach to Alzheimer's, we're really looking at treating the root cause And it would be cavalier to say that at this point, I've seen evidence that through these treatments, we're able to reverse the disease, but certainly optimistic in our clinical and anecdotal data that we can slow the process and prevent the process.
You mentioned depression treatments. Tell me about how you address that.
So our depression and PTSD treatment pathway is very similar in the sense that pretty much all of our wellness treatments are going to start with a very comprehensive blood panel and medical questionnaire, similar to what we referenced before with the PTSD, that series of 6 ketamine treatments. There's a lot more involved than just the ketamine. We're doing afterwards NAD and antioxidant and vitamin infusions to really support, once the treatment takes effect, make sure that the brain has all the substrate that it needs to lock in that neuronal growth.
You also mentioned the sexual health part of what you do, Natalie, and I want to talk about that a little bit. Describe what services you offer for that.
Yes. So once again, the best approach to sexual medicine is to look at global health, specifically hormone levels. So for women, bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, and for men is a great place to start. I'm super excited about the program we put together for our men's sexual health. We have a membership that pulls in all of the evidence-based practices that restore sexual health for men into a membership. Specifically, we do P-Tox, Botox, focused shockwave treatments. And when those are done as a maintenance plan, we really see restoration of function that does tend to deteriorate after the age of 40. So a very comprehensive approach to men's sexual health. We actually have men who fly in from around the country for our treatment package because it is so comprehensive. It's pulling in everything we have that has good clinical data behind it for efficacy in that area. And we see really great results. So I'm super proud and excited of our men's sexual health protocol and membership that we've built. It makes it affordable to have all of these treatments on a maintenance type schedule.
It seems like a lot more men are also coming in for the aesthetic treatments as well. And why shouldn't they?
Absolutely. So the days where Botox facials were just for women are long past. Most guys, they don't want to look done. They don't want to look frozen. But because we're taking a regenerative medicine approach to facials, to the way we do Botox, you deliver very natural results, turning back the clock of time. Guys still look masculine. They still look like themselves.
Natalie, you have 5 children, right?
Yes, I do.
Doesn't she look great? So it must be her treatment.
Well, thank you. I feel super grateful that I have easy reach of all of the wonderful supplements and bioidentical hormones, and I partake in all of it, including, I've got Sonia, our amazing licensed esthetician, in the treatment room right next door. So I try to diligently get into her room to participate in all the things that I preach to my clients about. So yeah, I feel super grateful that it's all within arm's reach.
And I also think a lot of people listening to this will appreciate that you have 5 children and such an extensive and accomplished career as well. Speak to us a little bit about how you manage that work-life balance.
Oh boy, I feel like it's a challenge every day and something that I'm still very much learning. My season shift, and my youngest is 10, my oldest is in college. Opening a clinic and really passionately throwing a lot of time into educating myself on best practice would not have been possible 10 years ago. But now that kids are a little older and less in the manual labor stage of things, I'm able to do that. But certainly my children, my husband are what give purpose to everything that I do. So I'm super grateful for their support. But I think all women struggle with the emotional tug of wanting to know that every day we're meeting everyone's needs at work, needs at home. I'm not sure that any woman feels at peace that she's doing it all right.
I think you're doing a great job at it. Whatever you need to take care of yourself and be your best person that you can be, Natalie's got the resource.
And I think the important thing is we really work to meet clients where they're at. We don't age overnight and we don't reverse aging overnight. My staff are experts in truly caring and really wanting to meet clients where they're at to take the right baby steps to head in the right direction with their highest priority needs. Once those needs are met, we can evolve into other aspects of whether it be aesthetics, wellness, sexual medicine.
That's fantastic.
I will just share on a personal basis that I have been taking the trizepatide shots at Natalie's for about 4 or 5 months now, maybe a little longer. I had tried it unsuccessfully before, and the difference was they really asked me a lot of questions early on. I said, well, when I tried it before, I wasn't losing weight, and my stomach hurt so bad the whole time. Jennifer in your office, she really delved in and said, well, tell me about your diet. And I said, well, I'm on the keto diet. And she said, but you said you had your gallbladder removed. And if you're on the keto diet and you had your gallbladder removed, you're probably eating way too much fat. And now, once the needle started moving, I'm getting close to losing 20 pounds.
Well, that's an encouraging endorsement. Jennifer, our nurse, Sonia, our licensed esthetician, Nellie, our office manager, and myself, we all truly put our hearts into our work.
Well, I have really enjoyed having you on the show, and I think what you're doing is fantastic. I encourage our listeners out there, visit her website.
For ReGen and Aesthetics Concierge of Texas, it's ra-tx.com. And for ReGen Men's Clinic, which really focuses on our men's offering, is regen-men.com.
Very good. We'll put that with the show notes as well. So thank you very much.
Well, Beverly, thank you so much for your time and having me on your show.